Good morning, everybody. I'm John Clucas. I'm one of the regional managers of the Midwest here for Dayton Lamina. We're going to talk about some training, and we're going to talk about how to select a punch. One of the things that we have at Dayton Lamina is a bunch of training videos and things like that, and I'm going to use the background of one of these to show you how to select a punch. So there's 3 steps in creating a punch, and we're going to go through each one of the steps, but I'm going to show you the difference of why you might want to select Dayton Lamina as your punch supplier. The first thing is our training. One of the things that we have is a Dayton Die Clinic. We do all kinds of different types of training. We also do birth of a hole, the Dayton Die Clinic. How to stamp, high strength stamping, aluminum, many different presentations, benders. You've seen a lot of them here this week. We can come in and customize a presentation and work with you and your people and give a basic training on how things are done. So I'm going to give you just a snippet of what comes out of the Die Clinic and how do you pick a punch. There's basically 3 steps in picking a punch. Take a look at what would the sizes be, what would the material be, and what the treatments would be. So I'm going to touch on each one of these, and again, each one of these slides is in one of our Die Clinics that we've taken out. First of all, we have to figure out what size of punch that we need. And if you're going to punch a 200 thousandths hole, I'm looking for my punch again. I never bring it out. We put them away every day because somebody's going to steal them because they're so good. The punch. Pick the size of the punch that you're going to use. If you're going to punch a 200 thousandths hole, you're going to take a 200 thousandths punch. Your P diameter that you would call out is 200 thousandths. The problem is the die size. What do I do there? You can't have it the same size. You have to have some clearance in between those or between the punch and the die, so the material has to go through it, can go through it. So, what is it based on? Well, it's based on, first, the material thickness. If you have 100 thousandths material, let's do the math real quick. There's a guy in the background. I'm going to ask you how to do some math right here. Young man, you, if you have 100 thousandths material, what's 10% of 100 thousandths? Oh, 10%, it's like $1, sir. It's like $1. So if you had $1, it would be a dime. So if it's 100 thousandths, it would be 10 thousandths, right? So, but it's a hole, right? So you've got it on this side, and then you catch the other side. So you take 10 and 10 for both sides of the hole, and you would add 20 thousandths to every opening that you have in your die. And that way, your die will work properly and all the material will shear correctly. This is an example of one of the pieces of literature we have right behind me here, and that's what it looks like. We have it online. You can download it in PDF format, or you can take one with you. This gives you an example of what we suggest clearance might be. Now I'm going to get into some of the fun stuff. Number 2, the clearance test. Another thing that we do for absolutely free, that will come out and you can give us a 1x4 sheet of material, and we change the dies and we will punch some holes in there and figure out what size hole that what size die that you're going to need and what size the punches would be. Let me show you the example of what I mean here in the test. First of all, remember I said what size hole? We measure the hole size. You got to get the right size hole. If you don't have enough clearance, a lot of the times the hole will come up undersized. You know, when you take a piece of material and you try to jam a piece of steel through it, it really doesn't want to go in there. So the material kind of seizes up on your punch, and then when you try to strip it off, it wears away the end of your punch. So if you don't have enough clearance, it's going to be smaller. Have you ever slugged up a die? Have you ever slugged up the young man over here again? Have you ever slugged up a die? You had some slugs catching? You have. And you know what happens when what that is? When that material is sneaking up on your punch, it's closing up on it, but the die side, it gets fat. It's like a fat guy in a little coat. What are you looking at me for? I said fat guy in a little coat, and you're sitting there looking at me. So as you go as you go down through that, those slugs will collect up in there, and the material gets stuck inside the dies, and then you have an issue on the die side. So improper clearance is one of the things that can slug up your dies. The thing is, what we want to minimize is the burr. So no matter what you do, we measure the burr, and that's on the back of the part, what's left over after the material gets sheared and stuck through. We measure that for you and tell you what it is. And remember, I said it's about 10-11% per side on steel. If you take a look at that, that's where the minimal burr is, and that's how you select your part. But again, it's based on the material that you have. Another one of my favorite slides. If you take a look at this, you've got yellow, which is aluminum, black is regular steel, and this is just a guideline. I mean, your steels can be harder, your aluminums can be harder. You got stainless steel, harder materials. I mean, this chart here, the takeaway on this is 7-11. 7% clearance is about right, 10% for steel, and about 14% for stainless steel. If you take a look at that, 7-11. Why do you need to remember that? Well, I got to know where I get my coffee. I always get my coffee at 7-11. I never forget it. 7 times 2 is 14, right? 7 times 2. So you got 7-11. Where do you get your coffee? And then 14. So you got aluminum, steel, and stainless steel. The basic starting points for a lot of the materials that you have. But basically what happens is the softer the material, the least amount of less clearance you need. If you get into harder material, more clearance you need. I just worked with a guy last week, 28% per side on a piece of hardened spring steel, and it worked great. The key thing to getting the right clearance though is the amount of the amount of runtime that you're going to get. If your clearance is too tight, you're going to have to resharpen too soon. On that particular steel that we had, 060, this one was 060 cold roll, we were able to increase our runtime by 3. So that puts money in your pocket. Number 3, another Dayton difference, is we're going to material now. So we picked the right size, right? We got the right size punch and die. Now we're going to pick the right material. What do you use for the right material? We have a lot of blanks at Dayton, or A2, M2, M4, and PS. We have the heads on them, and all we need to do is spin them down. You can get them with our standard lead time is 3, but you can, if in emergency cases, we can get it out same day for you. Just let us know and contact your distributor or regional manager, and we can get that done for you. But the kicker is, I've got those available to you, and that means faster delivery. But don't think we don't make things out of other materials. The kicker is, picking off your punch, you have to take a look at the difference between toughness and wear. Blue is toughness, pink is wear. If you look at whichever one it is, when you get a tougher punch in most applications, so it's not going to chip, you're going to give away a little on the wear. So many new steels out there. There's so much increased productivity and so much wear and toughness that you can take. Here's our blanks. Notice that the A2 is a little tougher than the M2. Notice though the wear on it is nowhere near what it is on M2. That covers about 90%, 80-90% of what folks use. PSM4, that's a new up-and-comer. I love this one. Just take a look at the amount of toughness that you get, and the wear is fantastic. And we also have CPM 10B for you folks that are punching some very, very abrasive material, and your dies are set and ready to go. I use PS material on cutting very abrasive stuff. You know what the most abrasive material out there is? Plastic. Works great on that. So now, we've got our size, we got our material. Now I'm going to move back to number 4, and this is the last of the Dayton differences. We have many different types of coatings that can maximize your processes. So this is how we go about selecting them. First of all, there's two different kinds of wear. There's abrasive wear and adhesive wear, but understand both are wear. The kicker is you have to figure out where you're at and what you're going to do and which coating is going to go best for your application. But the one thing it is, take a look at what you don't use coatings for. You can't fix with chip punch. You can't fix bad heat treating. And if you have the wrong steel selected, you got to go back to step 2. Until you get step 2 down, you can't go to a coating and make it even better because you've got to get the right material. So that's not what it's used for. Coatings are used to enhance the process. So the different thing, what do we do to enhance the process? We can cryogenically treat them. We have, these are the different processes that we have. We do all of our own heat treat at Dayton, and we do our own cryogenics also. We also have some punches that we help, especially on adhesive wear, where we'll do our own polishing. That's what these two are all about. But let's get into the abrasive wear. Abrasive wear. Abrasive wear is where you wear the end of your punch off. If you could see this, if you could just see this. Do you see how much of that's wore off, young man? Do you see this? Yes. Does your dad know you're by yourself? I just want to know. But if you take a look at this, the end of this punch is wearing off. How do you check to see if I'm having abrasive wear? What I always do, just a quick rule of thumb, is go like this. And if you feel that transition point, which is right there, I know this is abrasive wear. The end of the punch is smaller than this part of the punch. So when you get to that transition point, a coating could help you there. These are the different coatings that we have for those. Now adhesive wear, that's where the material sticks to it. Now it still wears away. It's still there, but the difference is the type of material you punch will actually stick to the end of it. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I got this wear, and I don't feel it, I'll go this way from the base of the punch up. Oh, I feel the transition point here. That means the material's collected down here, and I need an adhesive wear coating for that. The thing about adhesive wear that kills you, that material will stick to it, and then you eat up your die clearance, and then you have a crash because you don't have enough die clearance in order to make the hole the proper way. So, last thing I'm going to talk about, these are what the coating looked like, but the Wi-Fi went out. But the difference in the coatings, let's see if I can get it to come back. Oh, it did. The difference in the coatings here, that tells you the color of the coating, and that tells you how hard it is. So the color of the coating is in the ball. If the ball's bigger, it's harder. The coefficient of friction is how much lubricity do I have in it. So if you take a look at the different coatings we have, this is TICN, which you all use. This is titanium aluminum nitrate, or excuse me, this is tin coating, the old gold coating. You can see where those are. The titanium aluminum nitrite's where we like to go. We're pushing it up here. It handles heat better, and it's also a little bit harder. Your abrasive or your adhesive wear coatings are that side that really help reduce the ability of adhesive wear. So that's it in a nutshell. You got the right size, you got the right material, and yes, you can coat it. And you have to figure that out. I hope this helps you with your punch selection, and if you need help with your punch selection, call your Dayton Laminator distributor or any of the guys in the teal shirts around the room, especially the young man running the camera.